Was the internet a mistake? I mean, think about it. Kids are bullied nonstop. There's so much garbage on YouTube, Instagram, and dare I say TikTok. Obviously, there are great things on the internet, though. There are great communities out there that truly are wholesome and kind. But even then, there are groups of people that do really weird things, like this.
Yeah, Marilyn, do you know what pegging is?
The internet has shaped the world for the better and worse. The internet allowed us to have access to each other's interests and hobbies and allowed us to share what we love so much. One thing that I've seen become more popular is anime. There's an endless amount of videos recommending different kind of anime and manga that wouldn't have been noticed otherwise. The internet allowed me to create fun video essays on stuff I like and allowed me to meet awesome people. However, my view of the internet and specifically social media definitely changed. It is terrifying to enter a comment section on Instagram or on TikTok. It's either very nice comments or really awful comments. There is no in-between. There is one anime out of the 45,000 anime that exist on my anime list that managed to shape how I view the internet and its users, and how it deeply affects people on the other end of the screen. That anime being Perfect Blue. Perfect Blue follows Mima, a pop idol who wants to break away from her J-pop group and decides to explore the mature realm of acting. Mima lands a role in an upcoming murder mystery called Double Bind. She sheds her pop idol image and decides to let that life behind. Since she takes on a role in this crime drama series, her career and life entirely changes. In her eyes, she has evolved into something truly different, and she seems happy about that change. With every action, there is a consequence, and she had no idea what was going to happen to her. Her life as an actress gradually becomes more demanding and taxing for both Mima and her manager, Rumi Hidaka. She becomes much more important later on. The constant weight of stress and a new career change is crushing Mima. I mean, if you were in her shoes, you'd probably feel the same. To make matters even worse, she has a stalker, but she doesn't even know that yet. It's pretty bad. Mima one day gets a new computer and stumbles upon a site that documents every single aspect of her life. This is like if someone made a Reddit thread about your entire life, or a YouTube video dedicated to the things you do on a daily basis. The site that was dedicated to Mima was created by a fan who's obsessed with her. This online stalker goes by the name of Mimania. Mimania represents a certain type of person on the internet. Those who are violent, obsessive, and feel resentful. They represent a type of person who feels entitled to someone else's body. He represents a group of people who feel the need to control everything another person does. He does not stand for something good. He serves as this horrifying manifestation of what people are capable of doing with the endless possibilities of the internet. The stalking of celebrities or even social media influencers has always been a thing, but the obsession has become much more noticeable, especially when looking at Instagram. Perfect Blue is a great example of parasocial relationships. This idea is something we've all seen. Taylor Swift fans being obsessed with, well, Taylor Swift. Gym bros being obsessed with gym icons. So on and so forth. Before I continue, let me explain this idea of what a parasocial relationship is. It's worth explaining. Parasocial relationships are one-sided relationships where one person gives a lot of emotional energy, interest, and time to a person that is completely unaware of the other's existence. With the case of celebrities in Perfect Blue, the viewer is left with this visceral reaction when seeing this quote-unquote fan, who really becomes much more creepy and haunting. When Mima, at the beginning of the film, announces to a crowd of adoring fans that she's leaving behind her job as a Japanese pop idol in order to pursue acting, many of her fans miss her, but one fan does not take that decision too kindly. Her future stalker, Mimania, is most upset by the sudden change, because God forbid we allow others to change. He soon finds out she's no longer promoting the pure innocent image she did as a pop idol. He's upset at the fact that she's taking risque photo shoots and acting in mature roles. He is infuriated. I recently watched this movie in theaters and it was such an awesome experience. However, when I saw this scene, it reminded me of Instagram comment sections and people's reactions when they see women do OnlyFans. Not saying all women do OnlyFans because that's not true at all, but people get really frustrated when they see another person participate in sex work. A lot of men feel entitled to someone else's body, and Satoshi Kon's Perfect Blue, he represents that animosity that men have towards female celebrities. It's crazy. This film from the 90s predicted the behavior of a lot of people on the internet, and it's terrifying. When someone says a piece of media is ahead of its time, I agree and disagree. Perfect Blue changed how the internet can be used. In this movie, the internet was used to destroy Mima's confidence and respect for herself. She thought she had agency over who she is and what she wanted to do, but everyone around her wants to control her. Her identity and her sense of self was ripped away from her, and she does not deserve any of it. At the time, no one would have assumed that the internet could make or break someone, but somehow Satoshi Kon was able to predict how people would behave. You know what? Scratch the idea of predict. He inferred. He understood human nature and human behavior, and he just made very smart inferences of how we would behave 20 years in the future. With or without the internet, studies have shown fans of celebrities of any kind are pretty horrible, and to a certain degree, pretty violent. In the world of Perfect Blue, Mima is seen as this innocent pop idol. The stalker and the main antagonist of the film want to preserve the idea as long as they live. They want full control of the idea of innocence. Her life is slowly falling apart, and she's slowly breaking. She constantly finds herself in these corners, and it's very difficult to get out of. Many people find Perfect Blue a film that is difficult to understand and interpret. You're not wrong. Watching this film for the 4th time in cinema was terrifying because there are new details that you simply don't catch on your first watch. Something continued to persist, however, in my multiple rewatches of this film. The confusion is intentional. You're supposed to feel that sense of fear that the character Mima experiences throughout the entire run of the movie. Several things happen to her. A website is created documenting every small detail of Mima's life, whether it be fake or real. Mima finds out that this pop idol group she was a part of and dedicated most of her life to is doing better without her. Everyone around her that seems to care about her potential career starts to die. She believes she's responsible for the death of someone else, even though she is innocent. Her insecurities continue to grow, and she questions who she is. Mima is young, but is faced with 2 identities, herself and the idea of the pop idol. Her story examines the toxicity of Japanese idol culture at the time, as well as subsequently similar forms of obsessive celebrity culture. There is a psychological consequence of being idolized and being famous on the internet, especially now. You think that our main character, the story we live through vicariously, would remain as this destroyed person, this husk of a human. You'd be wrong. Even though Mima goes through hell, she's not completely destroyed. She comes back stronger and rebuilt towards the end of the movie. Satoshi Kon doesn't break characters and leave them as shattered versions of themselves. She slowly tries to overcome those obstacles, but somehow Satoshi Kon manages to write a character that overcomes the impossible. Perfect Blue is a masterful combination of color, design, music, and character study, especially writing. But my favorite part is the use of colors. There is something about 90s anime that is truly beautiful. It creates this uncanniness to it, but at the same time, this beauty. In this film, red is one of the most common colors used. It is used as a warning to the viewer that something bad is going to happen. You see this a lot, very common in a bunch of movies, whatever. Seeing red created a sense of, well, being uncomfortable, especially watching it on a big screen. 90s anime have a weird trend of being so weird and uncomfortable to watch, but I absolutely love the aesthetic. Also, if you want to watch something truly uncomfortable from the 90s, go watch Violent Jack. I absolutely hate it so much, but it is one of those 90s anime that I regret watching, but you know what? Besides the point. Let's just go back to the video. Satoshi Kon recognized the disturbing possibilities of the internet at a time when most people were preoccupied with other things. It is 2023 and the internet has changed drastically. Misinformation is spread like wildfire through Twitter and YouTube. Short-form content is dominating YouTube, and things are changing even for the better and worse. The internet has evolved into this sick and twisted monster. Perfect Blue feels not one bit outdated, even though it was an anime released in the 90s. This is a film about a young woman driven to the brink of insanity by the stresses of the entertainment industry, demanding physical and emotional labor from her. She's being tormented by everyone around her, feeling scared for her life by the predators of a cyber stalker in a time before most people really understood the idea of cyberbullying. The internet was imagined to grant a level playing field upon which a lot of people could just communicate with more freedom. However, Satoshi Kon reimagined what the internet is and could be, and also foresaw how the internet could easily destroy someone. The relationship between identity and one's performance of themselves is at the core of most of Kon's work. He explored this not just in our relationship with the internet, but also with entertainment, our work, and our dreams. In different combinations of these interrelated ideas, he found terror, drama, and beauty through the way they clash or fuse. This self-relationship is a source of terror and uncertainty in Perfect. Even though this anime was released in the 90s, which I love, I can't help but continue to talk about how great this film is. I made a video over a year ago talking about how much I love this anime, and even then, this anime is more relevant than ever. It's a story of pain, but manages to teach you how to figure out who you are in spite of the worst things imaginable. This is truly an anime like no other.